Alright, hello everyone. So today I was kinda in a mood of making more videos than just one. So here I am again. Today, this time around I'm gonna make like a review of a match again. And yeah, the match that I'm gonna review is a match between Conley and Craig Wescoe from Worlds 2011. It's a top 8 match. Conley was on like an insane run in that tournament. I don't think he has lost a match in this tournament until this point. And yeah, I remember watching this game that we're gonna review, and I just thought it was awesome. Like at certain point, it just seemed like that there is no way for Conley to win, and then he was able to win. At that point, also there was just this kind of a rumor, or not necessarily a rumor, but like the other pros were like making fun of Conley a little bit, that he wasn't maybe that good of a player and stuff like that. But he played actually really well in this game, or probably in the inter tournament in general. And I just thought the game was awesome. I was kind of bored the other day, and I was just watching some of the old coverage, and YouTube just showed me this match. I was like, oh, this match was awesome. I remember it. I used to watch it quite a bit, when I was aspiring to become a pro myself. And yeah, let's look at the deck lists first. So Conley is playing, or was playing, Tempered Steel. I think there were, the Channel Fireball team created this deck, and I think 4 of them were in a top 8. Conley was the only one who was able to advance to semifinals, where he lost to Yunya Ianaga playing red-green ramp. Almost unwinnable matchup, because he just had like Inferno Titans, like Storms and stuff like that. It was pretty bad for the Tempered Steel deck. But anyway, let's look at the deck list. So we're gonna watch a post-board game. I'm not 100% how he boarded, but I assume that he boarded in like the removal spells, like Ring, Dismember, Hero of Bladehold, probably even the Glacial Fortress. I assume that they kinda played it as an extra land when they bring in the heroes, so I would assume that he brought it in. Obviously not 100%, and maybe the Timelies, I'm not sure about him. He's not gonna draw it, so it doesn't really matter. As for what he boarded out, like obviously I don't know either, but I would assume that he probably boarded out like Mem Knights and stuff. He's playing against White Weenie, and first of all, it can just get blocked pretty easily, and second of all, the game's post board are like a little bit longer, grindier. And Mem Knight is just kind of a weak card. It's good game 1 because you just wanna kind of steamroll your opponent, and it like allows you for nut draws. But post board, when your opponent has like more artifact removal and just like more removal in general, having a 1/1 that doesn't really do anything becomes less valuable. So I would assume that he boarded those out. By the way, Paolo and Luis are in this top 8 as well, as usual. And yeah, let's look at the deck list of Craig Wescoe. So Craig Wescoe, unsurprisingly, played White Weenie, splashing for Geist of Saint Draft. Once again, I'm not really sure how he boarded, but I would assume that he boarded in like all the removal spells. Not sure about like Day of Judgment and stuff, but cards like Oblivion Ring, Divine Offering, Angelic Destiny, Revoke Existence, probably even Timely Reinforcement seems really good. And probably even the 4th Geist, because once you have more removal to kind of clear the way, Geist becomes a lot better. As for what he boarded out, obviously I'm not really sure. Something like Mana Leak seems pretty bad. Some of the weaker cards, maybe some like Mirroring Crusaders, that don't really do that much in the matchup. But yeah, let's get into the game. So I'm gonna make this bigger, and I'm gonna make myself smaller. Put myself like somewhere here. Hope that works out. So both players have a pretty good hand. Craig has Honor, Fiend Hunter, Geist, Timely. The beginning turns are not really that interesting, but there are some interesting spots down the line that I would like to talk about. So Conley has a Glenhawk Idol. That card was really good because you can't really kill it with like sorcery removal spells. For something like Feed Hunter can't kill it, so So Conley has a pretty interesting turn on turn 3. That's like one of the most interesting turns. So his options are Yeah, he has a Glenhawk, Edge Champion, and Dispatch. So, he can he can play the Glenhawk and replay the Glenhawk Idol. He can I don't know, attack with a Glenhawk Idol and then play Glenhawk and bounce it, but that just seems a lot worse. You don't have the Idol in play, or he can play the Edge Champion. I think playing the Edge Champion, you don't want to do that. Like, you're not gonna have Metalcraft turned on, and Craig's deck has a lot of ways to kill it, and it's like one of your best cards in the matchup. So obviously you don't want to do that. But what he ends up doing is kind of non-intuitive. I'm not even 100% that it's like correct, but I think it is. It actually ends up maybe not working as well for him because Craig has a Geist of Saintcraft, so he gets like a little bit punished for not advancing his board. But overall, I think it was a really good play. It probably, even though Craig has a Geist of Saintcraft, it still works out pretty well for him because he doesn't get to play Timely. So what he ends up doing, maybe we should fast forward slightly. He just activates the Nexus and attacks. So like when I was watching this from home, I wasn't really thinking about it that much. And when he did it, I was like, wow, like he just didn't play anything. Then I thought about it a little bit, and the reason is that this is both good against Feed Hunter and Timely Reinforcement. If you think that Craig boarded out like his Mirroring Crusaders and stuff, besides Geist of Saintcraft, those are his like turn 3 plays. I think he has both 4 Feed Hunters and 4 Timelies, and if you just play Glenhawk, it can make Craig's turn a lot better. Like if he has those cards, he suddenly cannot really play anything. That's just like insane. And the upside of playing Glenhawk is that, well, if he doesn't have those cards, you have a 2/2 in play, but you can kind of play it later. You can also just maybe like bounce something that's like profitable to bounce. Maybe give something Vigilance and stuff like that. So it's not even that bad that you have it in your hand. So overall, it makes a lot of sense. It's a heads up play. I think it was pretty good. Craig is drawing a lot of lands, but having Geist with Honor of Pure is insane because not only it bounces the Geist and makes it pretty hard to block, it also pumps the token, so you actually attack for 8, which is a lot of damage. So this turn, Conley can actually play an Edge Champion and have it have a Metalcraft if he keeps up mana for the Inkmoth Nexus. Instead, oh, he's doing that, okay. I watched it last week. I'm not like 100%. I don't remember 100% what they did, but yeah. So this turn was kind of forced, like not really that interesting. So once again, we see that both players have the same amount of creatures, so Craig cannot really play Timely. Like normally Timely is insane, especially with Honor of the Pure, but Conley is playing in a way where Craig actually can fire it. So that works pretty well for him. So drawing Oblivion Ring was actually really good for Craig, even if it doesn't necessarily seem so, because he just didn't have any plays. Like besides that, he would probably like need to pass or play a Feed Hunter as a 2/4. But he drew a ring, so he can actually kill this Glenhawk Idol. At least that's something. And now he can even attack. So when you're watching this and Conley is getting hit with Geist, you think that he's losing. Obviously, he doesn't really have that much going on. Like he has one removal spell and the timer isn't doing that much now. But I don't know. When I see it like maybe a little bit differently with my current eyes. But when I was watching, I was just like, oh, Conley is so screwed. Conley's looking pretty. I'm kind of sad that he's not playing anymore. I always thought he was awesome. He was like the guy who always played like his own brews, and he was doing well with them. So I thought it was awesome. Okay, so Conley had an option between Hero of Blade or okay, sure. So I think he obviously played a hero in a signal pest, especially with the fact that Conley has a dispatch in his hand. Some one of the few removal. He already Craig has 3 Oblivion Rings post board. Besides that, the ways he can kill a Hero of Bladehold is 2 Dismembers and a Feed Hunter, and Conley has a dispatch to kill a Feed Hunter. So there are actually not that many ways that Craig can kill it, and it's the most high upside play. I think the question of this turn wasn't really what to play, but it was whether you want to attack with this Edge champion or not. Because like if the hero isn't dying, you're probably winning, right? Like it just hits for a lot, especially with the Signal Pest. So you kind of have to assume that it's gonna die. Like usually in Magic, in these kind of spots, you shouldn't really think about like what's the most powerful play if your opponent doesn't have anything. You should be more thinking like, well, if he doesn't kill this card, or like he doesn't have an answer for this card or whatever, then he's dead, right? Or like that looks pretty good for me. So you should kind of assume that they have those cards. In general, obviously there are exceptions to that. It's Magic is too contextual to like say that that's the case for 100% of the time. Sometimes the upside is like worth it, so you like do other things anyway. But in general, that's what you do. So the question was basically whether you wanna deal 2 to take 3, basically. Oh, what am I saying? Oh, he didn't have Metalcraft. Obviously, you attack. Okay, never mind. I was about to say that maybe he attacked and now he cannot block the guys, but I just didn't realize that he doesn't have Metalcraft, so I'm sorry about that. Also, like one thing worth mentioning is that like it might look kind of bad that now the Edge champion isn't Metalcrafted, so it's like vulnerable to removal, but it's not like Craig's deck has like. I guess he can have like Revoke Existences or Divine Offering or Leonian Relic Warder to kill the Edge champion. He can easily have that card, but maybe then he doesn't have enough mana to also kill the hero or I think that if Guys wasn't such a big of a threat, it might have been better to like keep your Edge champion alive and like hold the hero for an extra turn. But I think overall, it's probably just better to play the hero. Not sure. It's true though that obviously it worked out well for Conley because Craig doesn't actually have the removal for Edge champion, but he doesn't necessarily know that. He could easily have it. Like I guess there was a turn where there wasn't really a turn where Craig could have fired one of those like Relic Waters or Revoke Existences, right? Because Conley played Glenhawk, and Craig just went. I guess he played Honor. Yeah, like if he had that removal spell, he would probably kill the Glenhawk Idol with it. He might have drawn it down the line. Like I'm not sure. Anyways, he doesn't have it, so it works out well for Conley. One thing that I just wanted to say is that like if Craig had something like Hero of Bladehold, he would have probably played it last turn overplaying the ring. Like that wasn't like that strong of a play to just kill this 2/2 with his 3 mana spell. Like it's fine, but you would rather keep your like rings for like heroes and stuff. So he kind of like screams that he doesn't have like additional powerful like creature to press the advantage. If that's the case, that makes it more likely that he actually has a removal spell. So maybe in a different scenario, obviously with his hand is fine for Conley, but in a different scenario, he might have like lost his champion, where he could have easily prevented that by just like waiting a turn. Like if Craig just had like additional like ring or dismember to kill this hero, and then he just had like a Relic Warder or Divine Offering to kill this, you just kind of lost it for no reason. I don't know. It works out well, so I'm not gonna like say that he made a mistake or anything, but I just think it's kind of interesting. Like if you didn't think about it, you would be like, it's obvious to play the hero, but it might have not been. Like he could have just like kind of waited, maybe like blocked with both champion and this Nexus to block this guys. The guys wouldn't really be able to attack. And as I said, like it's not that likely that Craig has additional way to press his advantage, right? Like I don't I don't know, but that's just what happened. So this is another interesting turn for Craig. So like the obvious line is to just feed hunter this hero, right? Like they played a hero, it's really good, and you have a feed hunter in your hand. Obviously you kill it. The problem with that is that for some of the reasons that I explained before, I think it's super likely that Conley has a removal spell. He has 4 dispatches and 2 dismembers in his deck. Obviously we don't know whether he brought them in. I assume that he would, because you know Craig plays hero of his own. So he has like 6 ways to kill a feed hunter. So your feed hunter is probably not surviving, and this is actually a really good turn to play a timely reinforcement, right? Like you're not gonna gain the life, but he has another Honor of the Pure, and he can just like make free freeze. That means that his hero cannot really even like attack that much. You can get hit by free here, but yeah, like I don't know. When I was watching home, you know, I thought it was kind of obvious. It just seemed kind of forced. You just play the honor, kill the hero, attack. You're suddenly in a pretty good position. But as we're gonna see down the line, that doesn't really work out that well for him, potentially. I'm not sure though. Like if he played, you know, from this board state, it kind of seems that the timely is gonna be good anyway. Also, if he kills the feed hunter, you know, you're gonna lose your creature, so the timely is gonna be good at some point anyway. And if you play the feed hunter this turn, you get in with the Geist, which is super tempting. So I'm not saying he made a mistake. I just think it's like a lot closer than it might seem here. And you know, you can see that Craig is thinking about it. So you know, he obviously knows that. He knows what's up. The problem is that if he plays the Fiend Hunter here and Conley does have the Dispatch or Dismember, he can just use his end of turn. So, you know, if he doesn't play any additional creature, maybe he has like a Tempered Steel or Glenhawk Idol or, you know, I don't know, Oblivion Ring or something. Then you have 2 creatures squaring 2 creatures, and you can't actually play your Timely next turn to make tokens. It might not seem that obvious from this board state, but you might kind of lose the chance to make like free freeze, which is pretty powerful potentially. So that's like, you know, pretty big reason to potentially play this turn, is just what I'm saying basically. The problem is that, you know, if Conley has dispatch and nothing happens, he can just kind of dispatch your Feed Hunter end of your next turn, and you don't have the free freeze because you just can't make them, and then he's gonna be able to hit you with a hero, right? Whereas if you make the tokens now, and Conley still has the dispatch and stuff like that, you at least have the free freeze to kind of block your board. Yes, you're getting hit by this Etchy Champion, which is annoying, but you know, you're still pretty far away from dying to that. So also, like, Conley didn't really have that much of an explosive draw. Maybe Craig just thinks that he was like playing around certain cards, and that's why he wasn't playing anything, but it definitely doesn't seem like, you know, his hand is full with like Volt Scourges and Tempered Steels. It seems pretty unlikely. So what is his hand if it's not a removal spell, right? Like, it has to be a removal spell. I guess it can be like 2 lands or something, but you get the point. I should probably move myself somewhere where it's better. So Conley takes 8. That's a lot of damage to take. Good thing about this play is that, you know, Conley is now pretty low, which means that he's dying to the Angel token if it's able to hit. Obviously, Conley, his deck plays a bunch of flying creatures. I'm not sure if he kept like Wall Scourges in his deck or whatever, but he already has a Nexus in play, so he can at least jump it for one turn. Oh, it was actually for I missed the second Honor of the Pure. It was actually for 10 damage. But anyways, Conley can still, like, if he's able to kill the Geist with any of his blocks, it doesn't matter that he lost the Nexus in the process by jumping. It's not like the Nexus is super important, and he has like other flying creatures in his deck, like Idol, Glenhawk, and stuff like that. So, it's obviously good to hit him for 10, I mean, obviously, but it's not like, it means that you're gonna win the game with a flying creature if that happens, so. So unfortunately, I cannot see Conley's hand. From previous, he has a Glenhawk and Dispatch. I'm not sure what's the card that he drew. We will find out shortly, I assume. So he drew another Dispatch. Okay, I see. Well, that's another way to potentially kill the token for one turn. I think his play is kind of forced, right? Like, you just attack. I guess I see, so... What Conley is thinking about is there are like multiple ways that multiple things that he's thinking about. So first is Timely. So he's probably thinking about whether there is a way for him to prevent Timely potentially, or if he's forced to play his creature. That's one thing. Another thing is whether he should like attack with his Etched Champion, or if it's better to deal the damage, because he knows he's gonna get the Hero of Bladehole back. So he's just probably trying to figure out, if the free damage like changes the race and stuff like that. I'm kind of lazy right now to think about it, but that's what he's like going through. Because if he attacks with the Etched Champion, he like, remember, he needs to block all of Craig's creatures. Ideally, he would kill the Feed Hunter end of turn so that Craig cannot kill it again with one of his Sorcery Speed removal spells, but he probably can't afford to do that. Also, he drew the second Dispatch, so if the second removal spell that Craig could potentially have is another Fiend Hunter, he can, kill that one as well, potentially. I think what he ends up doing is that he attacks with both, but I'm not 100%. Then he plays like a Glenhawk, untaps Signal Pest, and he's just gonna like double jump and kill the Fiend Hunter or something. Whether that's the best option, I'm not sure. It might have been... I guess he can just attack with both, bounce the Etched Champion, replay Etched Champion, and then then he kind of has it all, I suppose. He also, there's a question whether you wanna like dispatch immediately or not. Grex does play 3 mana leaks in main deck. I would kind of assume that he boarded them out, but he might have not. Obviously, like, if you lose to the mana leak, it would feel really stupid. So if you know that you have to kill the Feed Hunter immediately, it's probably better to just do it. Downside is that, it allows Craig to like pre-combat maybe Oblivion Ring or something, but it's not like you wanna block with your Hero of Bladehold anyway, so. What are you gonna do, Conley? Let's just fast forward a little bit. This is kind of... Okay, so he killed it in his turn. Okay, and then he attacks. Okay. I see. So I'm not sure if he had enough mana to... He returned the Nexus, which didn't really... Yeah, he just tapped the Nexus to make an artifact. He played Glenhawk and replay the Nexus. Wasn't it better to just bounce the Etched Champion and replay it and like still have the mana to activate the Nexus? Is that like dangerous in some way? I don't really. Let's think about it. So why wouldn't he do that? Okay, so like one reason that I can think of is that if he does that, then he has only one flying creature to block. So if Craig has a removal spell, he can just kill the Glenhawk, and you die because you can't block it with the Nexus. So like the way he did it is that even if Craig has a removal spell, he can still jump with the hero and block the angel with the Nexus. But that seems pretty bad actually, right? Like if that happens, you're kind of like losing anyway. And like this way you're just like losing extra creature for not like being able to block with Edge Champion for free. Also, he was afraid he could have just like not attacked with Edge Champion. And it would be kind of the same. The Edge Champion, he would lose the free damage, but the Edge Champion would just block the Geist, and you would still have two flying creatures, so that you're like still beating a removal spell. That seems better to me, but maybe the math is just like he thought that he just needs these free damage, but I don't really like that play that much. Like if Craig has a removal spell, you're kind of like, aren't you like kind of losing anyway? Like he just kills the hero. You double jump here. It's not like you're anywhere close like killing Conley. I guess you can start making like tokens with this Moreland Hound if you draw blue. You have to draw blue and you're like still kind of in a jumping mode. Seems like you're kind of losing position. So he just like lost some equity in like a super close game. For playing around a card that puts him in like a super bot spot anyway, and that's usually not like the right way to play. But I might be missing something. So yeah, Craig doesn't have the removal spell, but he has Timely, which is still pretty good. It doesn't gain him the life, unfortunately. Also, unfortunately for him, he does have the Moreland Hound, but he doesn't have any creatures in a graveyard. So yeah, he still obviously attacks with the Geist. Conley can double block, but he has additional Geist, and it's not like Conley is gonna block with his Hero of Bladehold, especially with like what he did with the Nexus and stuff. It's kind of obvious that he's just planning to kind of double jump here. So kind of forced attack and forced block. Nothing really that interesting here. It's a top 8 of a Pro Tour, so obviously the players are going through all the options, but kind of an not really that interesting of a turn. One option that Craig potentially has here is that he can like play the second Geist, to give him a creature in a graveyard for a Moreland Hound. But it's not obvious how this game is going to play out, and the extra Geist might end up being important if the first one dies. Like you can even like maybe Chump Attack. That seems pretty unlikely with 2 Honor of the Pures. I'm just saying that even a Chump Attack is fine. Yeah, you make a 6/6 Angel, and then you can play a second Geist. Okay, so Conley, instead of jumping, he decides to dispatch the creature, which I think is pretty good. Craig kind of showed that he doesn't have the Hero of Bladehold one of the previous turns, He probably boarded out Mirren Crusaders. So the Glenhawk might be like more important than the Dispatch. Not really sure. I would be a little bit worried about like additional Feed Hunter, because like with the Dispatch, you know that the guys is attacking next turn again. So it's kind of the same thing, right? You just like kinda need to jump with the Glenhawk unless you draw under a flying creature. So you can just jump this turn and this Dispatch the next turn. But the upside is that if like Craig has like a Feed Hunter to kill the hero, you kind of need the hero to win this game, I think. So you can actually dispatch it. Like, I'm not sure, but that's, once again, it's like something that I'm not really sure about. So let's see. All the creatures from Craig are lethal. He currently has 5 lethal attackers. So, you know, Conley needed to draw something. I think he drew another Glenhawk, which is probably his best draw. So he's like thinking, if I attack with some creatures, does it force blocks, right? Because the way Battlecry works, the mechanic on Signal Pest, is that you can stack it in a way that the tokens from Hero of Bladehawk come into play before you actually pump them. So, you know, with both Hero and Signal Pest, they attack for free. So the Hero attacks for 4, the Signal Pest attacks for 1, the 2 tokens attack for free, and the Edge Champion attacks for 4. So that's, and the Glenhawk attacks for 4 as well, so that's 4, 5, 9, 13, 17 damage total, which means that Craig needs to block 2 creatures at least, right? I think if he blocks the Hero of Bladehold and one of the tokens, then he takes 4, 8, 11, 12. Okay, so he needs to block all 3, I see. Yeah, so it actually works out pretty well that, you know, Craig has to jump with all the tokens. So it actually allows him to attack. If he couldn't do that, he would be screwed. But fortunately for him, Craig is, you know, has lost enough life points that he has to jump all 3, which means that additional draw on Glenhawk is enough to be able to get a blocker. Okay, so what I was saying with the dispatch before was just nonsense. If Conley didn't do that, he wouldn't be able to force these jumps, and the draw on Glenhawk would, you know, it would end up being a lot worse for him. So props to him. I was wrong. Obviously, if I was sitting there, I would probably like do the math with all the battle cries and stuff. I just didn't really want to think about it, so I was just like thinking in general. But obviously, once you do the math, it makes sense. I don't know if Conley was like, you know, thinking about timely reinforcement specifically, but you know, if you're in the zone and you know that Craig has plays 4 and certain turns he was like thinking for a long time, especially like the turn with Feed Hunter, you kinda, it makes sense that you kinda come to a conclusion that that's the card that he has. So well played by Conley, I guess. I guess it would like, wouldn't be that different because he would still have the dispatch for like the next turn, so he would still be able to kill the angel. Like, it would be kind of a similar spot, I guess, because he would just attack with everything. Craig would only jump with 2. He would play the Glenhawk, replay the creature, and then he would still have the dispatch. So it wouldn't be that different, but it did work out, you know, slightly better for Conley this way, I guess. And yeah, Craig now kind of realizes that he's screwed. He draws a land and he loses. So yeah, I just thought this game was awesome because, you know, Conley was just getting hit by a 4/4 Geist and a 6/6 Angel every turn, and he was able to win the game anyway. Obviously, he was kind of fortunate with like drawing the Glenhawk on the last turn and stuff like that. I'm not really sure if he had like other outs. I guess he could have drawn like an Origin Spellbomb into something. That would also create like 2 blockers. Maybe there's like something else that I'm not thinking about. But yeah, this game was awesome. When I was watching, I was like, wow, Conley is a master. That was great. And yeah, I came across the game the other day and I just wanted to share with you guys. If you liked the video, please click on the like and subscribe button. And I'll see you next time. Bye.